who at the age of 17, with the approval of his mother, went trans.
America tracks stats of every school shooting today. I want to see the stats on when the last time a shooter got laid.
Well, he's heading south from hell with an AR by his side. But I bet if we had sex robots, not another kid would have to die. AR-15, really? More like a romance since 15, am I right? Because these dual shooters have a love life that's perpetually stuck in quarantine. And Republicans say it's so long. The liberals blame the gun. But I think it's when teenagers have dry spells going longer than a nun's.
We're live. Welcome to the greatest podcast in the universe, maybe the multiverse. ChatGPT, that kids. What's happening? I don't think anyone, this is what's up. I don't think anyone knows what's going on. Furthermore, I don't think anyone knows like what this is, what the earth is, what consciousness is, what is going on? What is going on? I don't think anyone knows. I'm going to do the best I can, this podcast, to break it all down. To break it all down? break it down. Break it all down, dude, like a break dancer. I'm going to break it down more than a break dancer, dude. But before I begin this impeccable, perfect podcast, the greatest in the universe, I have a simple query. I have a question for you, the beautiful 10 out of 10 listener, because in order to get to that deep end of the comedic pool, so to speak, where punchlines are made and, you know, points are also made, and I love that when there's a perspective shift where you're laughing and you go, whoa, dude, I was the act, and this comedian is living in more reality than I was. What is going on? Is the world the circus freak show and that comedian's actually living in reality? What? I love that. I love when people make those comedic observations in the deep end of the pool. Like a Joe Rogan. Talking monkeys in space is incredible. The first time I saw that, or a George Carlin, etc. Excuse me. So, in order to get to that deep end of the pool comedically, I have to ask you specifically, you 10 out of 10, you beautiful listener, can you have an open mind? Is that possible? Is it? He's asking me to think for myself? Oh, no, that's a hard ask, dude. Asking people to have an open mind in today's society is applicable to it's like asking a vegan to taste test this super succulent ribeye steak. Can you taste test this succulent ribeye, you vegan? They go, they literally explode upon impact of eating a piece of meat. You can't even cook meat around vegans, you know? People are addicted to comfort. They love comfort, from the phone to the GPS. Everything's automated. Even Teslas, if you're a kid learning how to drive and you start on a Cybertruck, oh, that's not even driving, dude. You the wheel doesn't even turn. It's like turns like this much. You know, it's automated, self-driving. Are you actually driving? Who knows? Or is it driving you? I'll be here all week. So, I think this is my theory. I think the majority of people, right? You're either a black sheep or a white sheep. Both are being force-fed the latest fad opinion, and it's usually blanketed. It's usually masked with some sort of a moral virtue signaling of some sort. You know, like I'm a good person. I'm up here and they're down here. They don't even know what systematic racism is. Everyone's obsessed with race, for instance. Meanwhile, 3 generations ago, some people's ancestors in the South literally fought a war. How dramatic. You kind of have to do this on YouTube. You have to be dramatic. There's too much black and white thinking. There's the black sheep and the white sheep, and there's lines, and you have to dance around that on YouTube. That's what YouTube is. That's why it's so hard to get to the comedically deep into the pool on this format, which is totally different than live stand-up comedy. That's why I asked you to have an open mind. Remember? So you have an open mind. People just shut down when they hear slaves. They go, oh, they just totally implode like the vegan that's taste testing a succulent ribeye. Can you believe this stuff? So I do believe that the majority of people today are farm animals being force-fed the latest fad opinion. And I cleverly made the comedic observation in the past that American politics, it's like BDSM light. It's like 50 Shades of Grey almost. It's like, Daddy's home! Woo! Or it's like an AOC character literally demeaning people in real life, and she's a politician. Like, what does she do? Who knows? But she's like, you're a sub and she's the dominatrix. That's American politics. It's BDSM. It's very strange. It's a very strange thing. But the thing is, like, you know how many comedians lately have gone, I don't agree with Charlie Kirk. They have to start out their podcast by going, I don't necessarily agree with Charlie Kirk, but I don't agree with public assassination. A public assassination. Wow. Thank you, Captain Courageous. Good job. Thank you, Copernicus. That's riveting. That's so riveting. You're enthralling. You don't believe in public assassination for disagreement? Little fedora tap for you, dude. You should do a TED Talk. How about that? You're the best comedian ever. You actually don't believe in public assassination? That's crazy. How enlightened of you. They have to say these things because there's a rabid, maybe they're computer bots. Maybe it's not even real. Maybe it's perceived to spread unease and anxiety. Ooh. But here's the deal. Judge me. That's the thing. Comedians, we kind of set ourselves up to go, yeah, judge me. I don't care. And who are you, the thought police? Oh, most people think they're going to get like thrown in jail for thought crimes. They're like, oh, dude, I just committed a thought crime, dude. I said slaves on live air. Oh, I'm getting arrested. Whatever the thing is, dude. The latest fad being force-fed to the black sheep or the white sheep. That's what it is. The black sheep are like, I'm smarter than those white sheep, okay? I don't agree with anything they say. The white sheep are like, black sheep are bad, get them! Meanwhile, you're both sheep. You're both farm animals. And you're being, rode hard. You're being ridden hard and put away wet daily basis. Not only that, you're stuck in a stall and you're never even considering or fathoming the bigger world that surrounds you. And then AOC has a riding crop and she's riding you. I'm being ridden hard, but it's comfortable. I love coming back to this stall because I don't have to think. They're doing the thinking for me and I'm being led around like a farm. That's truly what it is, dude. It's like a George Orwell story. That's literally what it is, masked in some moral virtue signaling. I'm up here and they're down here because I believe X or Y. Here's the deal. I believe a lot of things Charlie Kirk says. I believe a lot of things Ben Shapiro says. I believe a lot of things, even Destiny. The dude who has he's a cuck. He's a cuckold. He's blue hair. He's on YouTube. I even agree with his stuff. Did I somehow become more progressive than the liberals? Am I more fluid than the gender? I'm more fluid, I guess. Little fedora tab, dude. I'm pretty fluid. No big deal. But that's where we're at. Everyone's scared to think. Everyone's scared to feel. Oh, you can't feel. You can't think. Oh, I'm so scared to be wrong. Ah, there's college kids, dude. For real. And college kids, if you hear this, wake up to this. They're scared to raise their hand in class and go, I disagree with, lesbian dance theory, whatever it is, 39,000 genders. I actually disagree with that. I don't believe that because they think they're going to be thrown in thought crime jail. And maybe that's where we're going. I'm arrested. I'm totally busted. I raised my hand and said something with my mouth. Oh, can you believe this stuff, people? But not me. I'm not trying to play pretend. And that's how are the comedians doing that? Comedians are not playing pretend. Meanwhile, they call it an act. What's up with that? That's like a Jerry Seinfeld. But it's like, no, I really don't want to play pretend. I want to be the same person on stage as I am off stage. And that's the world we're living in. What a fascinating, riveting time to be a comedian. For real. What if the world is the circus freak act? It's the 9 to 5 revolving door, man. And you're playing the role. You're actually acting it out more than anyone. What if that's the case? And the comedians are living in the reality where it's like, no, I don't know what we're doing. But, you know, I find meaning in a lot of things. I want to do the best I can. I want to be a little bit better than I was yesterday. I want to be more loving. I want to have an open mind. So if you stuck around this long, I bet you have an open mind. Kudos to you. Maybe you're light years ahead of me. Maybe I'm a Neanderthal compared to your spiritual enlightenment. However, you do have something going for you, which is original thought. And that's reality. Maybe the black sheep and the white sheep aren't meant to live in reality. Maybe they're meant to live in some hallucination consensus, you know, where they're like, racism and Don Lemon and, oh no, I believe in whatever whatever's going on with Fox News and CNN. They got bitten by the virus, like the the Night of the Living Cucks podcast. What a great podcast that was. But that's what's going on, guys. I think we can all agree upon the fact that whatever they're force feeding down the black sheep or white sheep's throats is not reality. It's like George Soros generating the machine with all this money. And meanwhile, bricks are being shown up at the protest. They're throwing bricks now at Starbucks windows. No one knows why they're acting this out because they're force-fed like sheep these weird opinions. I don't get it. I don't think anyone gets it, but that's the show. Welcome to it. It's the greatest show in the universe, possibly the multiverse. That's what's up. It is the greatest show on the planet, and this is what's up. If you have made it this far, you have an open mind, of course. You are a 10 out of 10, of course. You are beautiful, of course. Furthermore, it's kind of like this. There's a football field, right? And we used to be on it. We were playing the game. We were once black sheep or white sheep. But once you have this awareness of the game being played, now you're in the stands. And you're an observer of the game being played. And you go, whoa, this is insane. I'm an observer of the greatest show on the planet. How could you not be enthralled? How could you not be? This is riveting. This is the greatest show on earth right now, today, present day. The greatest moment is now, baby, because we get to witness this amazing show that's, you know, going on right before our very eyes, dude. It's so funny. Every day, I have to laugh. I have to. By the way, if you're like, no, everything's messed up. The world's bad, dude. No, this is not good. This is not good. Dude, it would be boring if it was any other way. Am I right? Or am I right?
But I bet if we had sex robots, not another kid would have to die. AR-15, really?